rejuvenation of Lori's Dollhouse continues. And the reason we call it rejuvenation is because we bought a house that needs a little bit of fixing. We didn't buy a fixer. Really just a little bit of spit and polish is all that's needed. And today's project, we're going to focus on this area right here. And what you're looking at is 134 years of just ultraviolet radiation from the sun, just absolutely killing these layers and layers of paint. And you can see the dead window glazing there as well. So at first my thought was, I'm going to use this chemical stripper, and this is a fairly non-caustic stripper. It worked okay, and it took about 2 days to take about half of the paint off of one window. So lots of time applying, scraping, waiting, applying, waiting, scraping, and then it just didn't work. So what I had to do is resort to pure muscle. And when I used this paint scraper, I was able to do one window in about 6 minutes. And you can see here that it worked just fine on the window frames as well. So really just a little bit of muscle and some tolerance for a mess, and there you have it. And of course, because it's most likely lead paint, I do always wear protection, and I do recommend that. So after lots of brute strength and a little bit of cleanup with sandpaper, we're ready to apply several layers of fresh paint, and I just used a bare paint and primer exterior paint all in one, and that seemed to work okay for this project. As you saw, the glazing was absolutely toast from, once again, I think the ultraviolet radiation from the sun and just time. I mean, this house is very old. I applied the window glazing, and what I didn't know is this stuff takes like 2 weeks to completely cure. So it's really soft. It is just like Play-Doh and pretty easy to apply, and then fairly easy to shape and form into place. And that's going to hold that window tight, but also create a weather tight barrier. So here's a random semi-pro tip for you. This was something I encountered during this project, but if you have a screw, let's say in your house or an old piece of furniture, and the hole is just stripped out, all it needs is just a little bit of material in the hole to kind of shim that hole up and give that screw something to hold on to. So here I'm using a toothpick. If it were a larger hole, maybe a matchstick would work as well. Of course, take the match head off. But the toothpick worked great here, and you can see the screw has now something to bite into and pull that trim piece tight. When you have a project like this, it really is like opening up a can of worms. And here what I found was many of these windows had lost their counterbalance rope. So that balance, or that weight, is there to counterbalance the weight of the window to make them easy to go up and down. And these ropes over time, they break. So I did have to restring quite a few of the ropes. And a little bit of WD-40 on the pulleys, and now the windows operate really smoothly in their channels, or as I like to say, they operate now as designed. And here's a quick before picture, and you can just see it was old and nasty, and that's just the best description, old and nasty. And here's a quick look of after. So nice, fresh, white paint, not 74,000 layers, just a few coats of paint. And once again, to protect the paint as we move forward, so I don't have to do this again, because I don't want to do it again, because it was time consuming. I have a saying, do it once, do it right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some ultraviolet radiation blocking on the outer storm windows. So that is the first line of defense, and it's kind of what I think has created the lens for that sun to beat down and do all that damage. So I think moving forward, I think we've got a solid project, and I won't have to do it again. So there you have it. We'll see you next time.